Hello and welcome to a new online course dedicated to IELTS writing, prepared for you by Lingua Learning Center in collaboration with IELTSonline.us. We have teamed up with this platform in order to create two separate IELTS writing courses, one of them being IELTS Rocket and another one being IELTS Master. Today we're going to have the first introductory lesson to our IELTS Rocket IELTS writing course, in which I'm going to describe what the course is about and talk about the basics of IELTS writing. But before doing so, I want to introduce myself. My name is Dilshad. I have been teaching IELTS for over 3 years, and my recent score for an IELTS exam was an 8. And I'll be happy to teach you the basics of IELTS writing in the course for IELTS Rocket. Well, let's discuss what IELTS writing is in the first place. That is one of 4 parts of the academic IELTS test. It is the last part in the exam, and I have to tell you that when you register, well, after you register for the exam, you will have a separate verbal task, which is speaking, and a separate written exam, which is listening, reading, and writing. Writing comes as the last part of the written exam, which is often a difficult part of it because you will be a bit tired. That's why having a prepared strategy for IELTS writing is always something that's going to help you. That is the last section of the written exam, and it lasts for 60 minutes, which means you have 1 hour to finish the given tasks. I also have to tell you that each of the components of IELTS gives you the 25% of the overall score. That's something that you have to remember. But usually, especially according to the average statistics, writing seems to be the most difficult, the most challenging part of IELTS, and that's why we have prepared 2 separate online courses to make IELTS writing easier for you. The task types that we have in IELTS writing are task 1 and task 2. So let's talk about, first of all, the scoring. Both of these tasks give you 1 score. That's what we have to remember. And usually 60% of your score for your IELTS writing is your task 2, and about 40% is your task 1. But this doesn't mean that you should only finish one of them. It still means that you have to finish both of them, but you have to keep in mind that your task 2 essay gives you more marks, let's put it this way. Also, we have to tell you that in task 1, you are given visual information, and your job is to describe what you see. But in task 2, you are given a point of view, argument, or a problem which needs a response. And task 1 is at least 150 words. Task 2 is at least 250 words. That gives you an overall number of 400 words that should be written within 60 minutes. It's not an easy task. That's why people who do not have a good experience, or people who do not have a certain strategy in writing, they do not succeed in this part. And that's why it is usually called the most difficult part of the overall IELTS exam. So let's remember, you have 2 tasks, you have 60 minutes, and you have to finish both within 60 minutes. There is a 9-band scale in IELTS, from 0 to 9 actually. Usually the average is about 5 in Uzbekistan, 5.5 and 6, around that number. And our objective in the IELTS Rocket course is to, let's say, improve the quality of your writing and reach the band of 6, which means a competent user. So this is the band that we're looking for, and hopefully after finishing this course you can get this or even a higher band after your exam results are released. We also have something that we call the band descriptors. We have those for task 1 and for task 2, and the only difference, as you can see, is this part. So for task 1 we have something called task achievement. For task 2 we have something called task response. And I'm going to explain that in a second, but we should also look at other band descriptors here, which are coherence and cohesion, lexical resource, grammatical range, and accuracy. So let's start from these 3. Coherence and cohesion is how well connected and how smooth your essay is. Lexical resource is obviously the level of vocabulary that you're using, synonyms, antonyms, usually the correct usage of the words that you're using. And then the grammatical range is obviously how accurate your grammar is. So if you have any issues with grammar, that is going to affect your overall score from IELTS writing. We have to tell you about that. And then task achievement and task response. Let me explain the difference. In task 1, you are describing, you're writing about the visual information that you see. That's why it's going to be the task achievement, because if you provide the wrong numbers, let's say, then your task achievement is going to be low. But in task 2, you have the idea, you have the argument, and that's why it is a response. It is your answer to what you see. That's why we have the differences between task achievement and difference between task achievement and task response right here. These are your band descriptors, and each of them gives you a 25% from your overall mark. That's why if you have any issues with any 4, your overall mark, your overall band is going to be affected. That's why you have to work on the lexical resource, on coherence and cohesion, obviously on your grammar, which is the biggest problem from my experience, and of course on task achievement and task response. These are the band descriptors for you. Now let's take a look at the essay types. First of all, we're going to start from task 1. This is what I talked about when I said visual information. As you can see here, we have something called the bar chart. This is the first task right here, and we have something called the line graph. So basically here we have the bars, and there we have the lines. That's why they're called the bars and the line graphs right here. These are the most common tasks in task 1 IELTS writing, and most of the time you are likely to get tasks that look like this. But we also have pie charts. They're right here. They look like a pizza, and they have slices inside, and they have also this visual information that you should describe. And then we have the tables that usually provide statistics. So let's remember: bar chart, line graph, pie chart, and a table. And also we have something that we call as maps, and we have the process. These are usually even a bit more interesting than the previous ones, and in this case we have to talk about a certain place usually. Let's say a certain city before and after. We usually have 2 maps to compare, usually, with a few exceptions. And then in the process we usually talk about a certain procedure, a certain process in manufacturing, for example, or let's say the life cycle of an animal, and we have to talk about that process in the best way possible according to all the standards of IELTS writing task 1. And then the last type of task 1 that I have to mention is the mixed type, usually something that often let's say students struggle with. They find that difficult because in the mixed type, as you can see, you can find the bar chart and a line graph together given as one task, or for example the pie chart and the bar chart given for you. So it can be the combination of 2 tasks, which we often call as the mixed task in IELTS writing task 1. These were the task 1 types. I have to mention again that this is a task in which you have to write 150 words, and usually task 1 is the task which students try to finish first before they start task 2. And task 2, let's talk about it now, has 6 types that I'm going to include in this course. And agree-disagree essay, the first type, which we're going to start from in the next lesson, would look something like this. Let's take a look right here. This is the example that's given to you. So nowadays celebrities are more popular for their wealth and glamour rather than their accomplishments, and this sets a negative example for young generation. Do you agree or disagree? As you can see in task 2, you do not have the visual information, but you have, like I said, an argument, idea, or a problem that you should respond to. And in here you have a question that asks you whether you agree or disagree with the given statement. This is the agree-disagree essay. We also have advantage-disadvantage essays in task 2, positive-negative essays in task 2. For each one, I have written the example just for you to understand the small differences. Then, obviously, we have the discussion essay, direct question essay, and problem, cause, effect, solution essays. For each of these essays, we have certain strategies that we are going to talk about in this course that is called the IELTS ROCKET writing course. And before finishing this introductory lesson, I have to tell you what you should expect from this course. Now, after this lesson, we're going to have a certain plan. So today we had the introduction to IELTS writing, but after that, for each lesson, we have a separate task. And here, for example, we can see lesson 2 is task 2, agree, disagree essay. And then we have advantage, disadvantage, positive, negative, discussion essay, direct question, problem, cause, effect, solution. So for the first, let's say 7 lessons, well, 6 technically, without including the lesson 1, which is introduction, we will talk about task 2. And then in the second part of our course, lesson 8 till lesson 12, we will dedicate to task 1. And as you can see, everything is given separately. The bar chart, the line graph and pie chart, table and mixed tasks, maps, and processes. So everything is done step by step because we have to understand the basics of each tasks. And then one more detail before we finish this introductory lesson, I have to tell you that every lesson includes at least one essay from me, which means I am given a topic. I am opening the Word file in which I will write one essay at least during this video lesson. Well, technically the next video lesson, that's one essay at least written by me during the lesson, and 3 essays given as homework every time. 3 essays every time. So if we do simple math, that means that you will complete 36 essays as the part of homework, and I'm going to finish 12 full essays at least during the video lessons. And obviously we have a new vocabulary every lesson, and after you provide me your essays, I'm going to check them and send you the feedback every time you finish your tasks. This is the introductory lesson for your course. If you want to know how to write the agree-disagree essay, you can proceed and watch the second video, after which you can make a decision as to continue or not to continue this very video course for IELTS ROCKET writing course here, prepared for you by Lingua Learning Center and IELTSonline.us. Thank you for your attention. I'll see you in the second video.